Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Out of Bounds. It's me, Joey P, Joe P's P, with my two best friends, Bogman and the Welsh, and we're hanging out here talking a little Super Bowl, talking a little early rankings, and somebody wants out of Cleveland. Spoiler, it's not Deshaun Watson. We're going to talk about all of that today.
Everyone in Cleveland.
Well, that's true. Everyone in Cleveland wants out of Cleveland there. But before we get into that action, a quick bit of business. Of course, you can always hang out with us on our Discord, which is fantasypros.com/chat. That's the place to be. We got amazing stuff going on there, and the Betting Pros version too. But we've also got free stuff, which is the TJ Hawkinson Vikings helmet. It is given away. Jordan, I hope I say your name correctly. I've been practicing. Poppendicker. Jordan Poppendicker. I
don't think you can say that on here. Say it again.
It's a Poppendicker. I don't think it's Poppendecker, because that sounds like a weird power tool from Sweden or something like that.
Sounds like a really good Swedish cookie. A Poppendinger.
I love a good Poppendicker. I can tell you that. So Jordan, congratulations. You're going to win the prize of the TJ Hawkinson jersey. So stay on the lookout. We're going to get in touch with you. Congratulations, Jordan Poppendicker. I think I need the inflection. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Like a Poppendicker.
Swedish chef
right
right there.
It's a Poppendicker.
Boink, boink, boink. All right. And we got a new giveaway. When one giveaway goes away, another one shows up there. Mike Evans Buccaneers helmet for free is available right now, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com. All you need to do is head over to fantasypros.com/contest, complete the form, and either download the Fantasy Pros My Playbook app, leave a review for the podcast, or follow us on X, on Instagram, and TikTok, of course, at Fantasy Pros. The more actions you complete, the more entries you receive. We'll be announcing the winner right here on the podcast. And if you're watching on the YouTube, be sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and you can claim your prize. Now, gentlemen, the Super Bowl is this weekend. We're going to do some predictions, have some fun, talk about some stupid bets. But that's not the biggest news this week. The biggest news is next week we go to Vegas. Then we have a week off in between the holiday and things like that. In a couple weeks, we're going to be back here in 3 weeks. And when we are, we're going to be live for everybody on our new Twitch channel. That's right. We're very popular, so we're moving to Twitch. Still, audio is going to be available for those of you listening on the audio podcast. Subscribe, but also twitch.tv/fantasyprosNFL. That's where you can find us and interact and hang out with us live. Again, that's twitch.tv/fantasyprosNFL. So if you're on the Twitch, that's where you find us in a couple weeks. If you're not on the Twitch, get on the Twitch and hang out with us. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, boys. I found a fun fact here that I wanted to throw out there. The Super Bowl is going to feature Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni. This is the 5th time we've had a rematch between a team that has been to a Super Bowl and played that same team in a Super Bowl and then lost. In all 4 of the previous matches, the coach that lost the first time lost the second time. Scott Bogman. Does that influence any of your concepts and thoughts and feelings about the Super Bowl? Because when I heard that, I was already on the Chiefs side of this, and that kind of really drove me to the other side.
No, not even a little. Didn't drive me anywhere at all whatsoever. My pick has been the same since the Super Bowl has been announced. I was dead for a week, so I haven't been influenced by anything that's happened this week. So, that stat is eye-rolling, I feel like. How many times has the rematch even happened, did you say?
This will be the 5th time.
So I thought we were gonna guess.
Times?
I thought we were gonna guess the other matchups, because would one of them been?
One of them was Marv Levy back in the day with the Bills and the Cowboys.
Okay,
that was back-to-back losses there. I have to go back and check and see what some of the other ones were. But it is interesting though, because I think there's something about the confidence of winning and the confidence of beating a team, and then when you lose to a team and then having to overcome that, I think that's real. I think that's something that I've experienced just, in my life playing games and as a coach in youth sports too. Some teams just have that it factor and they just can't be beat. And some teams, they have that loser, not that loser mentality, but like that thing where it's like, oh, this is the one team that really gets us every time. Make it all the way to the
Super Bowl with the loser mentality.
These losers.
Well, but here's
aren't Reed and Shanahan are one of those, right?
Yes.
Noel and Landry.
Landry. Yeah, Chuck Nolan Landry. beat Landry twice, correct. So here's the question I want to ask you, Welsh, because I think the Philadelphia Eagles are, on paper, the more talented roster. I think most people would agree with that. Like, if you're looking just pure talent on the roster, I think top to bottom, it's a really exciting young Eagles defense. Very, more, you got Saquon Barkley, you got the big playmakers, AJ Brown. Like those guys don't really exist on the Chiefs. But what does exist on the Chiefs still is Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes, in these Super Bowls, not only does he run, he throws. He's had a couple picks in some of the Super Bowls too, which has got him in trouble sometimes. But when he's got the ball in the last 2 minutes of the game, if you don't keep the ball out of his hands in that period, it just feels like he's always going to make that drive and finish it off at the end of the day. So what do you make of this? Again, it's another rematch matchup here, but I know it's a different one because it's a different Eagles defense. The last time it was this Eagles defense, it was really, ferocious pass rush. This one is really good now in the secondary. They've really fixed those issues. But the big difference, obviously, is Saquon Barkley.
But by the way, how you were talking about Patrick Mahomes, it was like he's faster than a locomotive. He can scale tall buildings in a single bound, like he's Superman.
Well, he can get a flag whenever he wants.
Yeah.
He can. Well, here's the stats: 4 games, 107 for 164, 65% completion percentage, over 1,000 yards passing in the 4 Super Bowl games, 172 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 picks.
So, like, going back to the 30 plus year stat, like it's kind of eye rolly to me too, that it's like, okay, that's great that that's happened in the past, but at the end of the day, it still comes back to the context of both of these teams. And I would agree that like Eagles kind of top to bottom, bringing in Saquon Barkley completely changed what they were able to do on the ground. It's taken away some of the inefficiencies that would happen in that pass game, which is still kind of there, but they're finding their stride again. Their defense is great. They've got all the pieces. But like, so do the Chiefs. And at the end of the day, not looking at like a 30-year kind of marker to dictate like, well, the guys always lose to each other and let's go back and talk about Marv Levy. It's like, well, I can also tell you that the Chiefs, the betting on the Chiefs, and that's a year ago and 2 years ago, like this same team construction coaching for the most part is there. You turn out a couple pieces of a different talent. I think this can be a great game, but I have a hard time betting against Patrick Mahomes. They were one of the best teams in the NFL this year. He is like Superman, faster, not maybe faster than a locomotive, but he can leap tall buildings in a single bound, and he involves 8 to 9 different pass catchers. He's the most clutch player, and I would say that even though their run game has been a little blah, Kareem Hunt has kind of stepped up in shorter yardage stuff. Pacheco just apparently is a first quarter running back, and then we just don't see him anymore. That like, I still think that they're pretty well balanced, but they've got the advantage, I think, of the passing game, what Patrick Mahomes can do internally. We know that there's still like injury stuff with Jalen Hurts. So I don't know. I can't be influenced by weird Betty type of trends in this scenario where I'm going to just look at the game and just go, I don't know how I bet against Patrick Mahomes. And it's a close, the spread is close for a specific reason. I probably would lean on the Chiefs here, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Eagles, because you're clearly going on the Eagles side if they win.
I think that's how most of us feel who are on the Chiefs side. Like if you told me the Eagles win, I'm not shocked at all. In fact, the value to me in this game is probably betting the Eagles in a parlay with Saquon Barkley to win the MVP, not Hurts. Now, typically the quarterbacks win it, but I think in this scenario, the way the Eagles are built, Boggs, if you like the Eagles, it's the Barkley narrative you're driving here, because it feels like that's been the narrative this whole season for this team. And if he does this, and if he actually finishes his story here, a la Cody Rhodes, ironically in Philadelphia last year, maybe, just maybe, I think they are building a Saquon Barkley statue. And I'm not being hyperbolic. This is Philadelphia. If he wins them, if he does this 2,000-yard season, wins them a Super Bowl, comes from the Giants, this is like all-time Philadelphia mess right here.
I mean, Joe, I don't know if anybody wants a statue right now after seeing that Dwayne Wade debacle, right? So,
well, hopefully they don't get that same guy, because the Dwayne Wade statue was terrifying. Nightmare fuel.
It is. Yeah, it is. And listen, I'm taking the Eagles in this game. I understand the historic and the confidence that the Chiefs have here going into this game and all of that, but I can't get over Saquon. The offensive line and really the defensive line for the Eagles has been unbelievable in this playoff. I mean, they made Jaden Daniels and that Washington O-line look rough.
There was a key injury on that O-line though too.
Cosme was hurt. That's my guy. Texas guy.
Can I ask you guys this question? If you were to take one thing away, because like the Chiefs are well balanced. Like it's a solid defense. We'll give the edge to the Eagles, we'll give the edge to the Eagles. We'll give the edge. Obviously, it's a very large edge on the running game to the Eagles. Passing game, we're going to give to the Chiefs here. But if I were to tell you on the Eagles side, if you take away the big Saquon Barkley game or you take away the passing game, what's the thing that destroys the Eagles from winning this game? So I'm essentially saying, if Barkley is like 150 plus on the ground, 25 carries, does he win the game? And can they win the game if there is no pass game, which we have seen from the Eagles in multiple spots? Like, do they have to be well balanced, or just Barkley carry?
I think I think they need that big giant Saquon moment. And it happened on the first play that they touched the football in the last game. And I think it's the thing that just kind of takes the air out of the other team. You know, when you have that big Saquon. Now, the one thing I will say about the Chiefs, they're much more disciplined than other teams. They're used to these big moments and these things happening to them. They were down in that game against San Francisco. See, the Chiefs aren't really, I would say, great anywhere except at quarterback, but they're so great at execution. And Spagnuolo does such a good job, I feel like, in these bigger spots of always coming up with the right game plan, the right calls at the right time. Boggs, I don't know where you stand with that question, but that's my answer is, how do you beat the Eagles is don't let Saquon have that 50-yard run.
Like,
that's
can they win it without a pass game? And can they win it if Barkley is shut down? That's kind of, I think, what I was trying to ask.
And that's the thing is they can
but
win
which
it
one?
without a pass game.
Which one is more winnable?
I think you can't have Saquon get shut down in this game and win it. I think
because this was a great rush defense at one point in the year that has kind of dissipated in the last like 6
No,
weeks.
I still think they're very good. I just think that offensive line for the Eagles, especially in this run, has been overwhelming, even with injuries. Right? They moved Landon Dickerson to center for the NFC title game. No drop off, no issue at all. Still awesome, still blocking great. And even when they didn't hit their blocks, Saquon made it happen anyway. So that's why I'm on the Eagles in this game. And that's why the coaching question didn't really matter to me. You know, the talent is on the field and the talent is on the line on both sides for Philly.
That's what Marv Levy said too in that game against the Giants that he lost, and that game against the Washington football
you remember
team
that quote, the talent is on the field? Is that what he said? I don't remember that far back, but
no, but I'm just saying one
Joe
thing
the historian does today.
I've lived through a lot of very talented football teams that got the Super Bowls, and the Buffalo Bills fans will tell you can argue they had certainly more talent in those first two.
Look, it's a 1.5.
Dallas,
dude. I'm
not so much, but
and the Chiefs have all of the, they have the momentum. They have
I feel like they're just playing their best football now. Like, they flipped the switch. They did that thing that's so annoying that everybody hates, which is, regular season, whatever. And then, here we go. It's December. Boom, we flip the switch. And then here we go.
But the Patriots lost Super Bowls. Remember? I mean,
but the Patriots
went to
rarely
10.
also had the most talented football team. They were the other team that just executed and had the better quarterback. And quarterback execution typically is where I want to invest. Let's do a scoring prediction and then have some fun, because Welsh has some wacky bets for us in the Super Bowl. So we didn't do all the serious stuff at Betting Pros, but this is out of bounds. So we're going to get stupid because that's what we do here. I'm going to go 26-24 Chiefs. It's going to be 24-20, fourth quarter, a couple minutes left, and you're going to have Patrick Mahomes get the Super Bowl winning touchdown, because that's what Patrick Mahomes does. 26-24. Bogman, what do you have for a score?
27-23 Eagles.
Okay, so we're all pretty tight here and close, which, again, this is what it feels like.
I don't think it's a walk on either side.
No, I don't either. There hasn't been a Chiefs walk game all year, has there?
No.
What were your two bets? What were your scores?
27-23 for me.
Yeah,
$1.
26-24.
$1.
$1. Go under?
$1.
All right.
I'm gonna go $1.
I think Pop and Deeker, that's what the yodeler on The Price is Right used to say. Pop and Deeker.
This feels like it would be a lower scoring game. A lot of people are on that lower side, but isn't it like 48.5? It's like around 48, 49. So I wouldn't be shocked if this game did go under. Yeah. Both strong defenses. The only thing that keeps me like not wanting to like hammer an under is just if Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball. And also the other caveat is like, what happens with the Eagles? This is why, if I were giving you an actual score, I wouldn't be shocked getting away from the under if it was like a 30-23, if there was a bigger difference, because if the Eagles are playing from behind at all, they're going to have to rely on that pass game. And that is I think the biggest glaring thing that is staring either one of these teams in the face is them having to throw
30
the
to
ball.
23 could still be the last play of the game.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Tie game. Yeah, I guess it would be more like 29, 23.
No, but it's also the feeling of games too. Like you said, some feel like one team's dominating or necessarily, but the score is actually, you're still in that one score range.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some fun bets here because Welsh has done some homework and we're gonna have some fun here with some of these. So Welsh, you can bet on literally everything that has anything to do with surrounding the Super Bowl this time of year. So let's see what you got here. Let's see what you dug up.
Also, the world is letting us bet on anything. Just want to point out, who the hell is Jey Uso? What's a Jey Uso? You were just, we could bet on the Royal Rumble. You just dropped the Royal Rumble in here. You're not even throwing this in. What is a Jey Uso?
Jey Uso is one of the Usos, the twins, cousins of Roman Reigns, part of the sons of Rikishi, which will make sense to you too. Yes.
Yeah.
Their asses are not quite as large.
The butt guy.
Yes, with the butt. The butt guy.
The got, I think they say. Right?
Gyat. Yes. He had a lot of gyat, apparently. My daughters will be so embarrassed that I said the word gyat on air. So I'm going to say it one more time. Gyat. There you go.
Yeah,
that's what
he would wiggle it. He'd wiggle it. Okay, so I just wanted to get that in. You can literally bet on anything. You can bet maybe on GOTS. I don't know. But you were able to bet on the Royal Rumble and Jey Uso. And now
you could have made a lot of money if you had Jey Uso. He was not the favorite. I was looking at CM Punk, and that did not go well there.
Yeah, you guys did a whole breakdown of it on FantasyPros, so you guys can check that out. But we got the silly bets. The silly bets are out there. There's going to be probably books that are going to put some insane ones. These are a few of the more popular ones. Do you guys... Boggs, you probably don't. This is not your wheelhouse. Joe, are you a Gatorade bath type of guy? Like
I used to be, but then they started taking that away now. Have you seen that? Because
they didn't show it last year.
Yeah, they don't do the Gatorade anymore. A couple of years ago, there was a big controversy about it because somebody within the team knew what color it was going to be, and it was a whole big fiasco. So it's harder to find the Gatorade bet. So I've had to pivot to
bet
other
on the Royal Rumble,
here.
but not on the Gatorade bet.
Hey man, I got Charlotte Flair right, and now I'm 8 of the last 12 winners of the Royal Rumble. So the percentage is still pretty good. Nobody saw Jey Uso coming, but
could you bet that on the big books?
You can bet it in the international books. That's where you can bet it.
So not scripted. Is it real?
Monkey knife fighting out there in the uncharted waters. That's what you can do.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be in Vegas in 1 week, and we're gonna probably be flipping coins. And I was thinking we do a little.
How cruel is that? The
tournament.
day after the Super Bowl, we all fly out to Vegas.
Oh my
is that
God,
bizarre?
It is gonna be crazy, guys. But look out for some crazy betting opportunities too. If we can do some Fantasy Pros little individual contests like Joe and I did before. But back to the crazy bets you can do in the Super Bowl. So let me present a few to you, and then you guys can take your shot here. How much do you hate it? Would you bet it? Let's start with this. This is maybe one of my favorite ones. Will a player or coach cry during the national anthem? Your odds, minus 430 for yes, plus 285 for no. Famously, Sirianni just... Waterworks looked like Wilmer Flores just crying his face off in front of everybody. So,
dude, I love this one. I'm taking the no at the plus 285 box.
Ooh,
what are
really?
you taking?
No way.
Well, Sirianni's not going to cry twice, and Andy Reid's this is just another
but
Tuesday
somebody
to him.
wants to be the center of
Sunday.
attention every single year. So yes, someone. That's why it's minus.
A coach. There's only
430,
two
Joe.
coaches. It's a head.
It's a coach or player, is it not?
I thought it was just a coach.
No, it's a coach
No.
or player. So
Nah.
it'll be camera. It'll be
player.
camera.
Oh no, a player's
spanning.
gonna
Remember
cry.
when Noshawn Moreno leaked Niagara Falls out of his face during the
Yeah.
Super Bowl?
I thought it was just a
the
coach because I said
juiciest
Sirianni's
tear
not gonna do
ducts
it.
ever.
Yeah,
apparently.
he ended the droughts 100%. So, all right. So you guys you're gonna pay the minus 430 for some tears?
I mean, it's a bad bet. It's not a bet that I would mess with because of the odds, but yes, someone is
I
definitely.
don't know. I think it's a
crying.
pretty good bet. I think that's a lock if you got the capital.
That's true.
Just go hard.
Yeah,
Just go
100%.
hard on that.
All right. Also, I just noticed that they said you can. I don't know who John Battisti is. Is that Batista's brother? Speaking of wrestling, is he doing the anthem? John Batista, the over. Do you know who that is?
Batista. He is the X-Band leader from Stephen Colbert Show.
And he's doing the anthem.
Very talented musician. I guess so.
Cool.
I guess so.
Over 120.5 on the anthem is minus 122. Under 120.5, so that's essentially 2 minutes, is plus money. And you could also bet if he will use a piano minus 650 yes, plus 420. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. No. So what do you go? Over, under on National Anthem?
Well, he's a piano player by trade, so this is too much juice. I'm letting this one go.
You're not going to even play it?
I mean, again, this is a lot. This is going from 450
I mean,
to
this
650
is this
here.
guy's moment, so I always go over on those bets.
I think you guys are wrong. I'm going to go under. If there's minus 650 on the piano's involved. The piano is going to keep the pace. It's going to keep the pace, unlike the like Aguilera, like drag it on, like.
And no one's ever taken their hands off the piano to sing.
No, it's going to keep pace. I am doing the plus money under. It's plus 100 for 120.5.
I like to hear Walsh continue with the anthem, to be honest. That was such a lovely rendition he was doing.
Like that. Like
whoa,
that.
whoa.
I get high.
You know, I would actually prefer to see that girl who did it at the NOE All-Star game a couple years ago come back and get another crack.
I was singing kind of like her right there.
No, I think it was still better. I think you were actually still better.
All right, next. Well, no, I'm going to save that one. That's the greatest one. Kendrick Lamar halftime show guests. So here you go. You can use
not Drake.
Yeah, they should have that be like plus 15,000 should be on there. That's a good call on there. By the way, can you imagine the entire industry is just bopping and they're like that song and the words are on this song and everyone on national TV is
he
like,
comes up right at A minor.
Yeah, I know. Like Taylor Swift, like, boy, it's rough. Here you go. Plus 125 for Future, plus 125 for Metro Boomin, 164 for Lil Wayne, and Baby Keem is plus 170. First, Bogman, do you know any of those artists?
I not a single one. I was just thinking of how old I am when you were going through that list. I was like, are these wrestlers?
You don't know Baby Keem?
No.
You ain't know Baby Keem?
No, I thought that was something on a menu somewhere.
Don't do it. All right, so what? Yeah, you got to pick one. I'm gonna go with Metro Boomin.
Yeah, I'll go with Metro Boomer too, whoever that is. Sonic Boom.
Boomer. Yeah, Metro Boomer. You're Metro Boomer.
I can't bet SZA, who I already know is going to be on there now. They've confirmed that.
Yeah,
so
that's a confirmed one.
Yeah, don't run with SZA. It's a bad thing. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Future. I'm going to go Future here on this.
All right, we get plus 125. Right. Metro, Future, both there.
I think we got time for one more, and then we.
No. Hold on. I'll blow through a couple of these because I'm saving the absolute best for last. This is a fantastic one. Will there be a power outage? There are no odds, but this same prop was.
It's in New Orleans.
Plus 1,600. This was in previous years. Yes, minus 15,000 for no. If you could bet it, you got to drop. 1,600, like 16 to 1. You drop a couple bucks on there as a power.
I don't know.
Outage,
Are
right?
the Ravens going to be losing at halftime?
A hard
that's
pass.
True. That's not your job props. Any quarterback to record a reception, plus 1,600 yes, minus 6,600 no.
I'll go with yes on this one. I mean, they like to break out some of these weird plays.
Philly special.
In the Super Bowl.
Saquon throw to Jalen, 100%. He can't throw it. Saquon probably can. I think that's one. A non-quarterback to throw a touchdown, plus 1,400 for a yes.
I'm going to stay away from that one. No,
Joe?
Thanks. I'll go no on that.
I mean, if it... that's the hard part is like, you know, it is the Chiefs get so gimmicky in some of these big games
Kelsey
too.
gonna throw a touchdown to Mahomes.
That's exactly.
Okay,
the guy
then how about this one?
Like,
any offensive lineman to score a touchdown, plus 2,800 for yes. So if you had to bet quarterback reception, non-quarterback throw a touchdown, or offensive lineman, which one are you taking?
I would go non-quarterback. If I had to take
one,
I would go non-quarterback to throw a touchdown too. I like that.
They also have a flea flicker bet that's out there. Here's the last of the fun ones. Oh, it's fun. Will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift? Plus 500 yes, minus 950 no. Joe, you're the only one that can properly answer this as a Swiftie. So what do you think?
I will. It's a no for me because, you know, although they are very public and famous, they seem very private about a lot of things. So I just don't think it's appropriate. Plus, she is not one to steal his moment. This is his moment, and he's not going to want to give.
Sure.
I just don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying, like, the prop I want to see is, will Travis Kelce retire after the Super Bowl, which I think the answer is undoubtedly yes if they win for sure. I think it might be yes regardless.
What is it that makes Joe a Swiftie? If you spend over $1,000 on tickets, you're officially a Swiftie.
I'm a Swiftie several times over that.
It was a great show. I could name 3 songs.
It's one of the best concerts I've ever been to. I'm not going to lie. We had a great time. She's terrific. She played for 3.5 hours. It was a great show. I got no beef. I'm a
No
folklore
for me.
guy.
No way.
That's a no for you.
No,
Yeah,
I
no's
mean,
across
I
the
think
board.
Philly's winning. So
Well,
absolutely no.
that would be awkward, right? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I might as well get married now. My life is over. I
might as
lost the
well
Super
have
Bowl.
something good today. So
By the way, all of these ridiculous bets, you can go and place some right now over on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. And scoring touchdowns, by the way, is the key to hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. And you have a shot to score big by betting them on DraftKings Sportsbook right now. How do you do it? Well, you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code FANTASYPROS. That's one word, code FANTASYPROS. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Now, gentlemen, I was looking through some of the early rankings, and I want to talk about some here. All right, you got the quarterbacks and some running backs I want to shoot through real quick. Right now, the consensus, you can go see them at fantasypros.com on the ranks there, right on the front page there, the draft ranks for 2025, already up because we're very, ready to go, rock and rolling. We turn the page in the season the minute after it ends. Josh Allen at the top, and Lamar, Jaden Daniels at 3, not surprising. Jalen Hurts at 4, also not surprising. Burrow at 5, okay. Now, Patrick Mahomes at 6, I'm already kind of like, all right, well, I get it, but, it's last couple of years have been a little rocky there in terms of fantasy productivity. Baker Mayfield at 7, Goff at 8, Love at 9, Kyler Murray at 10, Justin Herbert at 11, and Brock Purdy, Welsh's favorite football player on the planet, at 12. What the hell does Lamar Jackson have to do, Welsh, to get to the number 1 spot? That's my question. It's like, come on. I mean, enough already.
wait for me to rank.
I mean, that to me, this is so automatic, Boggs. And I know, like I know you just chimed in, so I kind of want to ask you now because you chimed in about it. The season that he just came off of was unreal. And I'm not taking anything away from Josh Allen. Josh Allen is tremendous. But the number 1 quarterback wasn't Josh Allen. It was Lamar Jackson. Over 4,000 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And he also had 900 rushing yards.
3 more
and 4
points per
TDs.
game, which is really where it's at. That's the
But
thing.
so why isn't
3
he
more
one?
points per game?
What the
I don't
hell
know.
am I missing here,
I think
boys?
it's because Josh Allen scored 12 rushing touchdowns. Lamar only scored 4. I think that is the difference, but rushing touchdowns are finicky. And by the way, if Baltimore next year decides we want to run Lamar into the end zone, he'll score 20.
They're not going to do it when Derrick Henry is there. Like, that's the fall off.
Yeah.
Okay, but Derrick Henry was here this year, and Josh Allen still had a lot of rushing touchdowns, and Lamar still beat him out. As Bog said,
Right.
Was it 3 points per game more? Is that what you're
3
saying?
points
Yeah.
per game,
That's-
2.9. Yeah.
It's insane. That doesn't sound like a lot. That's a lot, everybody. Like, that's a whole lot. Welsh, at number 12 is Brock Purdy. I got a question for you. Is he in your QB1 list going into 2025 right now?
I think he's in that cusp range. The only problem is, like, if you want to sort by like fantasy points, per outing over the entire season, he comes in at 14. There's some guys right under, like a healthy Jordan Love, I think kind of competes for it. Justin Herbert obviously jumped back up. I mean, I haven't even jumped into my offseason rankings, but I think he's somewhere between like 12 and 14. Some of the guys, by the way, that would be questionable, Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, those guys, probably not Goff. Those guys were inside the top 12 of scoring per game this past season. Like, I don't think, I'm probably not going to do Darnold there, but then you got Kyler, Patrick
Bo
Mahomes.
Nix I would, which I can't believe I'm saying.
Me too.
Yeah,
I would
where
put
did
Bo Nix over Purdy.
Bo didn't go into this top 12. Yeah, but I
Well,
mean,
Bo
also
is
at
at
the
13,
same point,
so he is very fringy. We're going to talk about that next group.
you're going to have
for Superflex in
McCaffrey
a
back.
second.
You're going to have Ayuk healthy again. Hopefully they ship out one of those guys. They've got a great receiving core, tons of injuries on the offensive line. Like, I get it, but I think Purdy belongs in a grouping. If he's outside the top 12, I wouldn't really argue, but like, does he not belong in the grouping with like wherever Herbert is? I think he does. And probably Bo Nix.
All right, so the next grouping is your Superflex QBs, and my question to you is, who's your favorite return on investment? 13's Bo Nix. Somehow Richardson's still a 14, and I can't get there right now. I'm always intrigued by Richardson. I get it, but you have to be the starter to actually rush, and I'm just a little worried at this point of where we're going in that direction.
Like 11 attempts per game, Joe? Come on.
I'm not a big fan. Not so much. Caleb Williams at 15, Tua at 16, CJ Stroud at 17, Dak at 18, which seems a gross underrating of Dak right now. 2 years ago, he was a top 5 quarterback, and now all of a sudden he is number 18. I think that's absurd. Drake May at 19, Sam Darnold to be determined where he lands. Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford at 22 seems a little low to me too, and then Bryce Young, Michael Penix at 24. Welsh, who's your favorite return on investment in this group in Superflex in terms of the early rankings.
I think it's hard to deny Dak Prescott. Like if you're talking full on return on investment, I think Trevor Lawrence is pretty interesting. I think Bryce Young is pretty interesting, but I have to imagine they're going to deal with bringing in, new weapons for Dak this coming season. And like, he's a top 10 performer when he's out there, him and CD alone. So from an actual performance standpoint, it's him. But I think Bo Nix is an obvious one. Caleb Williams also kind of jumped out to me, but Dak is going 3 spots lower than him. So using your terminology, that's why Dak is picked, but Caleb would have been maybe my overall. That it's just like, you're going to have a coach that's probably going to finally, you hope, is going to trust him throwing the ball deep. He showed some accuracy. He's got great weapons. Like, I think you're going to get to unleash him this year and we'll have a big sophomore breakout. But Dak is the best value. Boggs, would you argue that like Caleb at 15 and what he's going to do is still a better return than Dak at 18?
I don't think I would argue that. But I do think that those are the 2 names that really jump off the page to me, along with Trevor Lawrence with Liam Cohen. I think, it's so weird.
I gave a really good grade, dude. I gave a good grade of him with Joe when you were out, Boggs, and then after I saw the Duval, I was like, I
did not give as good of a grade, and it was before the press conference. I already knew he was a little cringy and weird. And then the press conference just completely.
I think I give him an A-. We need to go down to like a B or
B-.
The
thing about Trevor Lawrence that I don't understand why none of his OCs have unlocked. The dude can run. He ran for more yards than Fields did his senior year, and they don't let him run just because they paid him a lot of money. Imagine if the Bills didn't let Josh Allen run. Imagine if the Ravens didn't let Lamar Jackson run. Let this dude use his wheels. He's got a whole nother gear in there that no OC has unlocked. So I think Cohen could do that for him as well. But you're right, Welsh. I think Dak and Joe, I think Dak is probably the best value out of this group. But I'm really excited about what Caleb Williams is going to be able to put together with Ben Johnson as well.
I'm excited about Drake May with all that cap space they've got, depending on how things go this offseason.
Go get T. Higgins. Go draft some
They go get T.
wideouts.
Higgins and some offensive line help. All of a sudden, because Drake May can run a little bit too. People, those who weren't wise to it learned real quick. I think that's a kid who just gets it. And if you give him some playmakers around him, this thing could get real good real fast. And now he's got real coordinators, real coaching around him too. And that's going to just do wonders for his development in the second year. Let's talk about the RBs real quick. Saquon at the top, cool. Bijan at 2, Jahmyr Gibbs at 3, awesome. Those 3 guys I have first round grades on. I also have a late first round grade on Derrick Henry still because, I don't know. He rushed for 1,900 freaking yards and scored 20,000 touchdowns this year, and I don't know what's going to change year over year. Somehow Devon Achane is at 4 ahead of Derrick Henry. Boggs, I think this is absurd. And I'm waiting for, when do we start giving Derrick Henry more respect? I can't believe it. I've turned into like a Ravens guy on this podcast today. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, I mean, you're just a Derrick Henry guy because you were big on Derrick Henry going into the season. So was I, and Saquon. Like, you put these guys behind competent offensive linemen, and they go crazy. So I'm with you on Derrick Henry, and I still really do like Achane, but he's not a workhorse back like Barkley or Derrick Henry. Lots of points. I still think he's going to be very, very high. He probably should be 5th behind those guys, but I'm with you. I'd put Henry ahead of him.
The rest of this group here, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams at 9, which again, also doesn't seem like giving him enough respect considering what he did last year. McCaffrey at 10 feels about right to me. Then Breece Hall at 11, James Cook at 12. If Aaron Glenn gets this team's head on straight, I've said it numerous times.
It's going to be criminally underrated.
If they bring in Justin Fields with Garrett Wilson again, reconnect those guys, get to running the football, and really dominate with defense and Breece Hall, I think Breece Hall could be a guy that wins people's leagues
Justin
this year.
Fields as
I want Justin
quarterback?
Fields. I do.
No.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers. What do all the quarterbacks have in common that were in the playoffs that have continued to advance? They're all mobile quarterbacks.
Good.
This is just
they're
where
the
we
best
are.
of the best. They're not Justin Fields.
I understand, but you know what? I mean, look, Justin Fields is still young enough, and I'm still old enough to remember when Justin Fields was good at Ohio State. Sorry.
What was a good NFL year?
Zoe said he's not talented. Are you telling me like Justin Fields has no talent at all? Because I watched him go through the Ohio State career, and I watched him in college playoffs, and I thought, man, this kid's a pretty good young quarterback. And then he goes to Chicago, which is where good quarterback prospects go to die. So, I mean, come on. Let's give the kid a break. Let's give him a chance to develop.
Yeah, you caught me off guard. Like when I'm like, you're like, oh, Breece Hall's gonna be big. Garrett Wilson. I wasn't.
Well, Breece
expecting
Hall last year
Justin
was
Fields to be the
arguably
quarterback.
people were looking at him as possibly the number 1 overall running back, right? Correct, going into last year. Now
Yeah.
he's almost 12. That's a huge value in my opinion.
I guess I just don't want a quarterback that has to run and is going to run probably like 8 to 12 times per game, and also a system. And maybe they'll change it this year, but they had other capable running backs that they kind of wanted to mix in and out. Like I want as many touches for Breece Hall as absolutely possible. I don't want it to kind of be minimized.
You want Darnold going back to the Jets?
Yeah,
'Cause he's never
100%.
Never
I-
happened. Zero.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't want
either, so.
18
Zero.
Breece Hall touches a game with also a quarterback that doesn't really move the field. I want them to have more than like 3 and outs and stuff like that. But to your point, maybe with those weapons around and a better offense built, that like they're going to be in a really good spot. I will tell you the back half of the first round on the running backs is phenomenal. Say what you will, Christian McCaffrey at 10 is ridiculous. It has number 1 overall upside. Breece Hall, if you could go in, and by the way, based on these ranks, you can, if you wanted to double tap running back and go McCaffrey, Breece Hall, there's some inherent risk, but there's also 1-2 RB upside that's in there. I think this is like a really good core with some. I'm a big Bucky guy, but like McCaffrey and Breece Hall absolutely stand out at the value you're getting on the back half of the
Well, I get it.
rookies.
Bucky's younger, and
Also-
so at 8, you want to look over him and McCaffrey. I get that. I do. Coming off
Also, we're going to drop an incredible running back draft class into this as well.
Let's talk about that. So the RB2s, Chase Brown at 13, who I would have, by the way, in my top 12, because I think next year the Bengals are going to come back with a vengeance. That team started to figure out its problems.
You better come back with a defense.
Well, I was going to say, you fix some of the things in the secondary. Joe Burrow is going to be right back in there. I'm telling you right now, that was incredible. I don't think we have enough appreciation how back from the dead they came at the end of that season, that they were relevant in the last week. That is stunning, because in week 6, I think we all looked around and was like, wow, the Bengals are toast. Like, this is just not happening for them this year. And Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, I mean, they willed that team back to life. Chase Brown, I'm all in next year. Joe Mixon at 14, Chuba Hubbard at 15. Good thing they gave him an extension, turns out. Kenneth Walker at 16, Kamara at 17, Connor at 18, Ashton Genty at 19. Then you have Montgomery, Pacheco, Tyrone Tracy, who I think is far too low, Tony Pollard, and Aaron Jones. So Genty's the guy I want to talk about. Boggs, you're the dynasty guy. You're the college football guy. This is a placeholder ranking for Genty. I get it. If Genty, let's say, is a Dallas Cowboy, right? Because we all know Jerry Liz love. I mean, look, they haven't had an RB since Zeke in his prime.
Put him at 10.
That was going to be my question. Like, where is he if he's a Cowboy, let's say? Because I think that's not absurd. To
Over
think that's where he
McCaffrey?
ends up.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
would take him over
listen,
McCaffrey, too.
I don't know what's going on with McCaffrey anyway. Like, and I don't trust.
No
I don't
one
trust
does.
the Niners
And
at
no one
all.
tells us what's going on with
So,
McCaffrey. Have we not
you
learned that
know,
the hard way?
Yeah, McCaffrey is like a floating piece
Guys,
right
he's in
now.
Germany. He's like having like transfusions and stuff. Like it's all
Uh-huh.
good. There's no problems here. He's having
Who's
a
his
he's
his
having
doctor?
a,
Is it Dr.
Wickelbogger
Poppendieker?
or whatever the guy
Dr.
that won the thing.
Poppendieker's looking at
Yeah,
him?
he's having a Poppendinker right now. He's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Kyle Shanahan here to inform us, like we believe anything that comes out of his mouth anyway. So, I look, Genty, if he goes to a place that doesn't have a good running back and he's going to just automatically get 20 touches a game, he's going to be insanely high.
If he goes to the Bengals,
The Bengals would be tough, but if he goes somewhere where he's getting all of the touches, he is going to be an insanely. I mean, he's mini Marshawn Lynch. That is my comp for him. He has incredible balance. He has great vision. He fights for that extra yard. He can catch the ball. The dude can do everything. So,
Well, he's not going in the first 5 picks. I think we all agree, correct?
he might go in the first 10.
All right, but that's what I'm saying. So let's take the first 5 out of it, because I don't think he's the top. I don't think we're there yet with him. The Raiders are at 6. The Jets are at 7. I don't think the Jets are going to be that. Carolina's at 8. New Orleans at 9. The Bears at 10. San Fran at 11. And then the Dallas
Bears at
Cowboys
10.
at 12.
Bears at 10. Build your
Bears at-
entire offense around him.
Well, I mean, okay, so Bears at 10. Is he still a top 10 guy then for you? I understand the Dallas one. I get
I don't
that.
give a crap about DeAndre Swift, so yes.
Okay.
What
Neither
about the
will Ben
Raiders?
Johnson.
What about how
Ben
about
Johnson
Pete,
has done
Pete,
the DeAndre Swift thing?
How about Pete gets his Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah, and Russell Wilson will probably sign there too. So
There you
run
go.
it back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's Bobby Wagner doing? Maybe we could just get everybody back together.
Get the band back together. That's what they're doing. 100%.
Let's just hang out there. All right. So that's a little look here. And again, when we come back to the Twitch in a couple weeks, we're going to talk about the tight end position. We're going to talk about the wide receivers too. Just kind of run some of these questions and ranks. These are good conversations to have because the consensus is polling, right? It's not facts. It's just where some of the experts are right now in the process, and that's going to change and evolve.
Running back's going to be deep.
Running back is going to be
a
deep.
Get wide receiver early this year because running back is deep.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And as we continue to move this show live too to twitch.tv/FantasyPros NFL, we want you to be there for these conversations we're going to have in a couple weeks. And of course, on social media, we'll be pumping that out there too. Before we head out of here today, Myles Garrett wants out of Cleveland. 8 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, arguably a Hall of Famer already, I would think. But there's some teams that have some cap space currently when you look around the league. And when you're looking at these top teams here, I know the Patriots are at the top here. After that, you have the Raiders, you have the Commanders, you have the Cardinals. Commanders are fascinating because if you bring a real pass rusher there, like a Myles Garrett to that team and the leadership he provides, that would be a stunning thing to see. The Cardinals, the Chargers, Bears, Vikings, those are all teams that have a lot of cap space. Welsh, do you have a prediction spot here of where you think Myles Garrett's going to land?
How about the San Francisco 49ers? They got wide receivers to trade. They talked Brandon Ayuk, sending him to Cleveland after the deal. They got the 11th overall pick. What the hell do they care with stupid draft picks? Get a pass rusher to go on the other side of Nick Bosa? Lock it up. Lock it up.
That's fun, but at the same time, highly unlikely, I think.
Likely. Very
likely.
So? You don't think they're going to be massively hyper aggressive on getting the most talented defensive player when they have a glut of stupid wide receivers? They got the 11th overall pick, which they don't care about that. What are they going to use it for? A pass rusher? If they could go and use that pick to get Garrett, absolutely.
He says he wants to win. So the Vikings also are in the top 10 in terms of cap space. They're going to have some openings potentially too on that pass rush side of the edge. The Commanders,
I think a third of the NFL. Third of the NFL is going to be on it.
Yeah, but the third of the NFL. Look, but 2/3 of the NFL can't. No way they can probably afford to take him on and structure the things they want to do. Boggs, do you have any landing spots in mind? You're the Mr. Defense.
The Lakers.
The Lakers are a good
pair
spot.
him with Doncic. I think that's going to be a great.
Who weighs more
there
right now?
Listen, I don't think Cleveland moves him. I think it would be stupid of them to move him.
Well, if the shoe fits.
Yeah.
If they didn't void that contract,
if the shoe fits, give it the biggest contract in NFL history and trade 3 first-round picks for it.
If they didn't have all those openings to void Watson's contract and they just kept doing it, what makes us think that they're going to listen and move Myles Garrett? That Garrett to be gone before Watson would be as crazy as Doncic being traded in the middle of the night. At least close.
There you go. There you go. Where do you think Myles Garrett's going to appeal? Drop your comments below here on the YouTube channel. Make your predictions. Where does Myles Garrett land in 2025? Also tell me why Lamar Jackson isn't number 1 on the expert consensus rankings. You know what? It makes me want to put my ranks in today because I'm so fired up and annoyed. Boggs, have you put yours in yet for 2025?
No, I have not.
Okay.
No.
So Boggs and I are going to put our rankings in. Welsh, when you put your rankings in, is Lamar number 1 QB on your board?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, good. So the 3 of us have to get on that when we get back from Las Vegas and start to elevate Lamar. I don't know why he's number 2. It makes my head hurt. It's terrible.
Viva
it's no good.
Las Vegas.
That's right. And Bogman, I'm so glad you're feeling better too. I know last week you were super sick. We missed you on the program. I'm glad you're better here.
Not dead yet. Still going.
Can't kill Scott Bogman. We've tried numerous times, but we just can't do it. All right. So don't forget, a couple weeks we'll be back. So don't get bent out of shape. Your favorite program is going to be back. But we're not only going to be back just on the YouTube channel and, of course, on the podcast version as well. But you can also join us live starting in a couple weeks here, twitch.tv/FantasyPros NFL. Keep an eye out for it. And, another place where you can get all the amazing content of Fantasy Pros. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Bogman and Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Enjoy the Super Bowl.